Hello, movie patient, and welcome to Film Therapy. I am Brienne, also known as Miss Movies, also known as your film therapist. I am not a real therapist, but I play one on the internet just for the show. And today on this session, I have a guest patient, and that guest patient is Ashley V. Robinson. Hello, Ashley.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing so well, and I have an incredible backlight. So what more could
You
I want out of
do.
life?
It's called the Godlight.
Yeah.
It is delightful. So, here is how this show goes. I'll let everyone know how it works and then we'll get back to who you are and all that great stuff. This is a storytelling show about movies, and we talk about we have three questions that we answer each time. What is a movie that inspires you? What is a film or a scene from a film that triggers a memory for you? Perhaps it's painful or it's happy. And what is a film that helps you through difficult times? So I started this show because I do suffer from depression, and I find that movies help me cope with that depression. So I also want to let you know, I always try to have this disclaimer at the top, and sometimes I forget it. But if you are experiencing an emergency right now, please call your doctor, call 911, call a friend, call someone that can help you right now. So, Ashley,
Yes.
who are you? Where are you from?
That's such a big
What can you
question,
tell
though.
us?
I am a Canadian. That's very exciting, particularly given the state of the country that I live in right now.
Yes.
I am. You may know me from a lot of the collaborations I do with my husband, Jason Inman. I'm all over his YouTube channel, Jawin, Jawiin. Together, we co-host the amazing Geek History Lesson podcast, which I'm very, very proud of. And right now, we are currently kickstarting our first comic book miniseries. So go right and pause this and then come back. JupiterJetComic.com. Go check it out. Maybe donate. That'd be super great. You may also know me from comicbook.com, DC Comics live events, or fans channel, Collider Heroes, the Schmodown, where I have the best entrances and consistently lose. I'm also the head editor at Top Cow Productions, which is an image imprint. We had our 25th birthday yesterday, and I've written a couple comics there, and I've shepherded many of the comics that you've read in the past year into being. And yeah, I'm on some TV commercials. I don't know. I'm a person who
Nice.
does stuff in places.
The only thing I don't know is your TV commercial work. So I'm hoping that you will tell us something so I can
Oh,
be like, oh,
sure.
yeah, I know that one.
So I was part of from 2014 to like the beginning of 2016. I was in a really big Intel commercial with Jim Parsons of The Big Bang Theory. I'm like a gamer with a slouchy beanie.
Okay,
And then we
cool.
get to like fist bump. It was really great. He was super nice and very tall. I'm also in something that is still airing. It's a Mattel/Barbie commercial. It's called Raise Your Voices. So it's like a music video, and then they clip out like a 30-second clip. It's like, it's hard in high school, and I'm the captain of the soccer team, which I played when I was 25 years old.
Yes, that's what you do.
And Hollywood. All your favorite teenagers are actually grown-up people. And then right now I'm in it.
Right? I mean, because then they don't want to have like parents and teachers on set. So they got to at least be 18.
Right, being 18 and not needing a child's work permit is like for real.
Right.
And then now I'm in like an Evite commercial where I look at the camera and I talk about how I used Evite and how great it is. I'm one of those not an actor, like real user, not an and I do actually I use Evite, but like all you have to do to be able to put that tag up there is actually abuse the product.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's hilarious.
Some inside baseball about the Hollywood commercial machine.
Now, I first came to know who you were or are from Geek History Lesson. So that is where I found Ashley V. Robinson, and I love
We were
that
internet
show.
girlfriends for a long time, and now
I
we're
know.
real life girlfriends.
I know, it's amazing. I don't know how that works. But I love Geek History Lesson because I don't read comic books, but you guys read comic books and then tell me what I need to know about comic books. And
Yeah,
sometimes I seem smart.
We cliff note it. It's true. I love it when you've tweeted this to us a couple times. Someone else does, but like people are like, I actually said this to someone at a cocktail party, because that's like one of the conceits of our show, and that's like so cool that you can actually like take what we're telling. It's like it makes it all worth it. Because surprise, you don't always get paid to do a podcast if you're not Mark Maron.
Oh, what? Hey.
What?
But I used it on there was a live stream watch along of Ant-Man that I was at for
Heck yeah.
Geekins or for superhero news. And so I listened to your guys' episode. I brushed up because I had listened before. And then I listened to your Ant-Man. You had 2 episodes on Ant-Man,
Mhm.
and I listened to both of them. And then I was able to spew out some knowledge as though I was somehow smart.
You are very smart. That's why
But
you
I
can
do
create and maintain shows.
I also do like let people know like I don't read comic books, but I know this information because of Geek History Lesson. So I
Oh,
definitely
thank
like
you.
pimp out your guys' show anytime that people talk about comics, and I'm like, well, I learned this from Geek History Lesson. So there you go.
I'm imagining you as like a cartoon character holding up a sign.
I don't read comics. I did read one comic.
Copyright.
I've read one comic. It's called Why the Last Man, and it's just the first book,
The
like the
first
big
trade.
one. Yeah. So
That's a good one though. If you're only going to read one, that's a pretty solid choice.
I mean, I'll probably read more, but that's the first one that I started with. So
Nice.
I want to continue. I need to find out what happens
When
next.
you're finished, we'll do the geek history lesson and you can teach it.
Ooh.
There
Okay,
you
now that's
go.
incentive. I gotta I was like, now I gotta go to Comic Bug, which is right by my house, and then I can go get the next one.
Oh no, wait, Comic Bug's a great store.
It is. I'm excited. All right, let's get into our questions today. So,
Cool.
our first question for film therapy is what is a film that inspires you? And this can be taken many different ways. So,
Okay, I'm gonna like walk away for like 10 seconds to get a prop and come back, which will help me
okay,
explain why this film inspires me.
while you are getting a prop, I will just talk to the chat. Hey, chat, I see you, Randall Sands, Pierre Kelly, Austin Singleton, Michael Atkinson. Do I say that correctly, Michael? Mayank. And yes, Pierre, Jason was on film therapy as well. And he is going to come back at some point to ask me the questions. So that's exciting.
He's stealing everyone's hosting gigs.
And here is your prop.
Here's my prop. So hang on, I got to do the movie poster right, like this. So this movie that inspires me is the Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. I have the sword.
Lovely.
It was given to me by Jason Inman, and it inspires me because I can watch this movie probably 100,000 times, and I could never get bored of it. And the Lord of the Rings trilogy is what made me. I saw the first one when I was 12. It's what made me be like, oh, I can be an actor and a creative person. Like that's a totally reasonable thing to do, right? Like I could just go be an elf all day. And so it basically changed the course of my entire life. It's the reason I immigrated to the United States. It's the reason I do everything that I do in a long, sort of convoluted way. And it's the reason that I have a sword in my home. And that's actually really heavy, so I'm going to put it down.
So that sword is like 2-scale replica.
It is. It is not a real, like, I mean, if you hit someone with it, it would hurt, but like it's not sharp.
Right.
And it's actually made as a prop sword. So the little piece that attaches the hilt to the blade is not like super well made. So if you hit someone hard enough, it'll just break as opposed to breaking them.
Oh no.
But if I like clubbed an intruder with that, it would be legit. It could hurt them quite a bit. But that sword is particularly featured in the movie because it's broken right at the beginning of the first movie, and it's supposed to symbolize like the broken line of human kings because they're so weak that they're fallible to the ring. And then it is reforged by Aragorn's to-be father-in-law, Elrond, who is the also half human, half elf. He is the Lord of Rivendell, and it is given to him as like a symbol of okay. Accept your destiny, like mend the reputation of your race and usher in this new age of goodness. So that is a very strong symbol for me. And it's a reason that I like to have it in my home and to have it around. And also we're going to get like a little bit sad right here. Aragorn as a character really reminds me of my father. My father passed away when I was 16. So when I watch it, I have like a lot of like, just like, oh, like nice daughterly filial feelings about it when I watch it. Plus, who doesn't want to watch someone like accept their destiny, become a monarch and save the world? It's right. Such a classic like culmination of a hero's journey. Like it's all the payoff for Luke lifting up the X-wing on Dagobah. So of the 3 movies, it's the one where I feel like everybody finally gets what they deserve. I know everybody else in the world thinks Two Towers is better because the battle is longer. and that's cool, and it's a really good fight. But I really like Gondor. All my favorite characters come from Gondor. Aragorn, Faramir, and Pippin are all really important figures to that country, that like piece of geography in Middle Earth, and I just like seeing them all happy at the end. I don't care that there's 5 endings and it goes on way too long, and it's like weird when all the hobbits jump on Frodo's bed. Like I am in 110% for the entire movie.
Now, did your father like read you the Lord of the Rings series, or does he have a connection to this as well, aside from like seeing
we
him in it?
went and saw the movies together because my mom is not like a genre person. She's not like a sci-fi fantasy comic book person. Although she did go see the Avengers, which I thought was weird. And she went and saw The Dark Knight Rises. And I was like, I don't know how you watch any of those movies with no context. So he was like kind of the parent who was like left to take us to stuff like that. But he really liked Lord of the Rings. And he also like, he watched Battlestar Galactica, like the cool new reboot.
Yes.
So like, yeah, I have that connection as well. Like one of the last movies that we saw together was Return of the King. It wasn't the last, but it was one of the last. So very close to my heart.
Yes, definitely. I was thinking of replica swords as you were speaking, because I bought a replica sword from a movie, which I'm hoping to show as cosplay at some point on the Schmodown. So
What is it? What is it?
The thing is, though, then that like if I tell you, then
Oh,
that'll ruin.
I want to know.
But just think of movies with people with swords. But maybe, Ashley, when this is over and there are no more patients in the waiting room, I will let you know about my.
I want to know. It's like a totally weird thing to like buy and have around, but now I want like 5 or 6 other ones, but they're spacious. Like you need a nice place to put them up, and they're heavy. So
right. And then with mine too, I have got kids, so I can't actually bring it out. It's in the box right now because I was like, if I even open this, there's going to be a problem.
You have to put it like really high up, and you're like, no, that's mommy's sword. That's so funny.
Oh, I can't wait. And there was a hilarious like Amazon review for this sword that was like some guy in Chicago, because Chicago, guns are not allowed. So he's like, so I carry this sword around and it gets me laid.
Whoa.
Like, really? That's great. That's great. I'm sure it does.
Good for him. That's game. I love that.
Hey, RB3 is in the chat. So hello, Robert. Thanks for joining us. He says, love seeing Ashley here.
Oh, thanks.
Let's get into our second question, which is, what is a film or a scene from a film that triggers a memory for you? Perhaps it's painful or it could be happy.
So I picked a happy one because I am not a very happy person, so it seemed like the thing to do.
Gotta go the opposite.
I'm just like really weird and sad all the time. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I feel that way too.
I'm like, oh, if I'm too happy or too sad, I'm crying. So I just feel like I'm always sad. So I did cry in this movie. I picked Star Trek Into Darkness from 2013. Very specifically, this was my first date movie with my husband, Jason Inman.
Aww.
And I cried when, spoiler alert, I guess. I cried when Jim died, and Jason was like, "Are you okay? Like, do you require assistance?" We'd met before, but we'd only been together for like a couple hours, and I was like, "Oh, I'm never gonna see this person again because I've cried like heroically over a Star Trek character dying, and now we're married, so it worked out okay."
Now, how did you two meet before going on this date?
I was working in a comic book store in North Hollywood called Blast Off, which is a great shop. Go check it out if you're ever in North Hollywood, California. And he came in with a friend of his who was a regular, and we got introduced really quick. And he was like, "Oh, I'm a director," and I was like, "Oh, I'm an actor. So like, here's my internet contact details. Let's hang out someday soon. Bye." It was Free Comic Book Day. So like, Free Comic Book Day is madness. And I was like, I've been up for 12 hours. I don't know what's happening. I can't see anymore. I was probably really sweaty and gross. So I'm very impressed that our relationship ever progressed past that point. And then we went like a month later, a couple weeks later, we went to Star Trek, and it was awesome.
And then, spoiler alert, he's not actually a director. I'm just joking.
He is.
That would be funny if he was like, that's his pickup line.
Oh
I'm a
my god.
director.
That's like it would be such an Ollie thing. It's like the guy in La La Land who's like, I'm a writer and I'm known for like developing characters. And you're like, I'm sure, whatever. We all are.
What does he say? I got a lot of heat right now. Or what? What
Yeah,
does he
I
say?
can't remember exactly what he says, but like that's a real person.
I know.
Or in world building, he's like, yeah, like I'm known for my world building. And you're like, can I swear on this podcast?
Oh, yeah.
You're like, yeah, I'm so fucking sure, dude. Like, yeah.
Jason is a legit director because I have seen
Yes.
on his YouTube channel like plenty of videos that you guys have done together.
Yeah. And I know he did like directing. He's done directing for a bunch of different people, but like Rhett and Link, Screen Junkies, and people don't think of YouTube like as directing, but it is. Trying to get a bunch of people to do what you need them to do is really hard. That's why I don't do it.
Yeah, it is really hard. And I definitely think of YouTube as like, I mean, just because you're not directing for someone that's paying for you to direct doesn't mean you're not a director. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, sometimes you are, like, again, with like Screen Junkies or whatever, like, then
Mhm.
that's like your actual job. But I think people
Right.
think because it's not like traditional, right? Because it's new media,
Right.
they're like, oh, it just happens. And you're like, it doesn't, man. Like that 3 minute, we did a Doctor Who music video.
Yeah, I
That's all
watched
in one
that.
take. It took us 5 hours because that's how long it takes to shoot something. And I think people think with YouTube that it's just like a vlog or like what we're doing right now. Obviously, this is like
Mhm.
real time to the finished product, but it's not always.
Right. It can be pretty difficult for
So
sure.
respect your internet directors.
So then after that, was he like, yes, this girl is crying at Star Trek? What was his impression?
I don't know. He was really nice about it. I think I probably told him because like when I used to date, I'm so glad I don't have to date anymore. I used to tell people I'd be like, I cry at everything, so like watch out. It's gonna happen. I think he was probably surprised because we'd both seen the movie like the night before as well, and I was like, oh, we can't talk about it until we see it together. And so like I knew it was coming, and I still cried. I think I said sorry about it. I was like, I'm really sorry that like I couldn't keep my shit together. I just have a lot of feelings about Vulcans and like brotherly bond between male characters, so I couldn't emotionally deal with it. I was not equipped to see Chris Pine just slump down like that.
Aw.
Yeah, I don't know. He was nice about it. He must have been because we went out again.
Yeah. I don't know. I used to never cry at movies, like ever. And then the one time when I was like, oh man, something in my body is changing, obviously, because there was an episode of CSI and it was like when Sarah Seidel
Yeah,
was a main character. CSI Las Vegas was a main character,
the
and
good
she was
one.
like, "I'm leaving this show, and I'm not going to return." And I just was like, "Ah!" And I was telling someone else about this, and they're like, I said, I think it's because I'm getting older and my body is changing that I'm starting to become more emotional. And I didn't have kids at the time. And someone was like, oh, that actually makes sense. I thought like maybe because you have kids, like your body changes too. I was like, well, maybe that happens also. But I think age also has something to do with it. And now like it's pretty much I'll cry at most movies, or at least it'll get dusty in the theater.
Yeah.
Right.
You missed up.
Some trailers too that I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know if I'm gonna see that, but looks
Yeah, that's for real. I saw the first Star Trek movie in 2009, and I saw it right after Up. Like we saw two movies, and I thought they were both going to be like fun movies, and I cried in the first 10 minutes of both those movies, and I was like, "This is horseshit. These are supposed to be fun movies." Like, and Up is just going to punch you right in your feelings.
yes. Man, that beginning. I wasn't ready for that either. And that movie Up, I watched right. My husband and I were trying to get pregnant.
Oh my god! I was like, "Please tell me you were pregnant and you watched it."
So it was more of a like we were having difficulties, and it had been like so many months, and we were just kind of at the.
Oh my god! Were you just like, "This is my life now"? I guess.
Exactly. I was like, is this going to be us? Are we not going to have kids? Are we going to be with the doctor? Because we had just scheduled our appointment to meet with the doctor to be like, this isn't working. Now what?
Hmm.
And so I was like, what if it's like this isn't working? Now what? And here's how it goes with Ellie and
Yeah.
I don't remember
And
his name.
then you die.
And then we go on vacation, and that's it.
What is his name? Frederick?
I can't remember. Maybe those that are in the waiting room slash chat can let us know the main character's name in Up, the old guy.
Yeah, the Ed Asner character.
I was like, Frank? It's not Frank.
Maybe.
George? Could be. I'm not sure. Maybe this is something I should know for a
It's an
sure.
old guy name.
It is an old guy name. I'll let you know when it comes up.
Cool.
Let's get into our final question, which is what is a film that helps you through difficult times?
The film that helps me through difficult times has been my favorite movie since I think I knew that you could have favorite movies. And it's one of the only films that I actually own on Blu-ray, along with Return of the King, although not Star Trek Into Darkness. And it is 1992's Aladdin, the single
Yay!
greatest Disney movie ever made.
I will.
I've been in. It's just the best. It's got some problematic things, maybe when you think about representation and voice work, but it's really tremendous, and I think it's beautiful. It translates really well to Blu-ray. It's actually very, very stunning. Like the cityscapes of Agrabah, which is not a real place. If you're one of those people who thinks that's a real place, it's not. It's pretend. Like so many things in this movie, like magic and flying carpets and genies. Yeah, it just renders really well. It could be because this was the time when Disney was doing most of their backgrounds digital, but like the character work was hand drawn. So I don't know if that's like maybe the perfect culmination of what it is that Disney does for animation. Again, it's just like a classic hero's journey. So by the end of it, you know everyone is going to be okay. But Aladdin, I think maybe it's because you see him living in like actual poverty on the streets. I know there are princess characters like Cinderella is treated like a maid, and Snow White is obviously not that well off either. Like she's treated in a similar fashion, but like Aladdin straight up like lives on the street in a cardboard box. I mean, he doesn't. He lives in like a broken down house, but he seems to be the most downtrodden of your Disney branded characters. And the fact that it's what we all want, right? That someone is going to see something in you and pluck you out of that. And then through like how cool you are, you know, you get to have, you know, a wonderful life. I do wish Jasmine had some more clothes on. I take umbrage with that. I'm all for the redesign at Disneyland. I think that costume is cute as fuck. Like that's my like feminism streak coming out.
I need to look up that costume because I haven't seen the new redesigned one. But I do want to let you know, sidebar real quick, Carl Fredrickson, thank you those that are in the
thank you
waiting room to let us know, Carl Fredrickson. But Aladdin, man.
Aladdin also has Robin Williams and Lea Salonga, and the best songs, like A Whole New World, I think is one of the greatest songs ever written. And I've gotten to do the stage play of Aladdin twice, and I'm always Abu. So I like sit backstage and watch them sing A Whole New World, and it will just never not be magical. So whether you're crying because you're happy or sad because you're me, Aladdin is always the appropriate choice, and it's kind of never gone out of circulation. It's never been in the vault. That's stupid. Stop it. Don't put things in the vault.
The vault is annoying.
Like I need 101 Dalmatians on Blu-ray. I'm just saying. But Aladdin's pretty much always been in circulation because it has been so wildly popular. Like even the TV show, which I think is pretty great, kind of always kept it around. So I'll fight you if you don't think Aladdin's the greatest Disney movie.
I think Aladdin is amazing. And how do you feel about a live action Aladdin? Does that interest you or no?
I'm not super into the live action things. Like they're just trying to hold on to their copyright and it's their prerogative, but I would rather see new material. Like I'd rather see Aladdin 4 and have it be really good than see like
the third one was great. I loved the third one.
Yes, Prince of Thieves with Aladdin's dad. Totally. But the only way you could get me to go see it live action is if you cast Dev Patel, who's the guy from Lion and Slumdog Millionaire and Skins, because I think he's amazing. And now that he's a grown up and has long hair, like he's a good looking man. So
that's perfect casting.
I'd be down for that.
Randall Sands says, I can send you a 101 Dalmatians on Blu-ray. He has an extra copy.
You tell me on Twitter and I will buy it from you.
So there you go. We will put that connection together.
Bless you. Bless you.
But Dev Patel would be great. I don't know about other casting.
Right, it's tough because, and then I feel really bad and I feel kind of racist because I'm like, how many South Asian actors can I name off the top of my head? And it's not that many.
Right.
I think the girl who's the lead in Quantico, whose name I don't know,
yeah,
I think she would make a great Jasmine.
Agreed.
And then I think Naveen Andrews of Lost fame, because he's a little bit older now, would be a really good Jafar. Although I think he's short, so you'd have to put him up on some risers.
Okay, that wouldn't be. There's not too many action scenes with Jafar, so I think they could be okay with that.
Right, it's mostly like the magic-y. I think the biggest thing would be overcoming, like, who are you going to cast as the genie, since Mr. Williams is no longer with us? Because you could just bring back, what's the Affleck guy's name?
Oh, I don't
to
know.
Be I could see him in my brain.
Gilbert Gottfried.
There you go. I wanted to say Paul Giamatti and I knew it was wrong. You could bring back Gilbert Gottfried to be Iago, like, no problem. So you just need a new Robin Williams, and those are admittedly some big shoes to fill. They'd probably give it to someone like Zach Galifianakis, which I wouldn't be super down with, but I don't know. Yeah, so I guess
how would they go about, like, actually making the live genie, and how he would look, and how would that work? I would see more of a digital genie, or?
Okay, I got it. You just make an Andy Serkis and you stick him in a mocap suit so that you get that grounded sense of reality like you have with Caesar, but it's still the CG design, because, like, I don't want the genie to look humanoid but not human. You know, like, he should have like weird proportions where he's got like this giant chin and these huge biceps and these tiny hands. Like, he's a magical construct. He doesn't need to be that human. But also Andy Serkis does good voices and also deserves an Oscar for his contribution to film. Like, I think Andy Serkis, also a Lord of the Rings person, is so important and so overlooked in like the pantheon of like film creators.
He definitely needs some sort of lifetime achievement award, but like soon.
I think the Oscars just need to, and I think Bibiani said this too, they just need like a straight up like motion capture performance, because it's not the same as you're getting from like a typical lead. But it's being used more and more now, and it's a special and unique thing, and I think it deserves to be celebrated.
It'd be interesting to maybe do that and combine it with like just voice acting as well.
Totally.
I don't know, because those people should be recognized too. For sure.
I mean, they usually get like the song awards, right? Because like, even though La La Land will take it, even though Moana deserves it, those people.
Good song, definitely.
I mean, La La Land's music is cute. Moana's music is like actually like Broadway caliber. So that's like my argument about it, but you don't get a movie as wonderful as that without strong performances. And I didn't know The Rock had it in him, and he was amazing.
He was very good. Oh, Moana. Good times.
I love Moana.
Who's going to now be the genie? It's The Rock. That's who it's going to be.
Sure. You know what? If it's The Rock, you can paint him blue and put it on screen, and I'll watch that. He's big enough.
We've figured this out. Oh my goodness.
Disney can hire us as consultants at any time.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for being on Film Therapy today.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
Yes, I agree. Where can the other patients that are in the waiting room find you?
We can come together and talk about our emotional problems and the things we cry at on my Twitter and my Instagram at Ashley V. Robinson. You can find me on youtube.com/Jawin, Jawin, doing our Flash and DC TV recap shows, and maybe another one that we're going to be launching, maybe when Legion comes out, I don't know, maybe a Legion show. geekhistorylesson.com for that, and jupiterjetcomic.com if you want to go and check out Jason and mine very first comic book miniseries.
I'm so excited for that. I did donate, so I'm hoping everyone else will donate as well.
Be like Brienne. She's a great woman.
You guys have some good perks on there, so that's nice. And then I just think about like all the work you have to do for the people that donate too. Like, there's a lot of homework that goes into your comic book as well, aside from making the comic book.
Yeah, running Kickstarter is like having another job,
Yeah.
but
Same with
it's a good problem to have.
same with Patreon too. You got things
Oh
that you
my
can do
god.
for that as well.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
but yeah, it keeps you busy.
Yeah, to say
So
the
good.
least.
All right. Well, you guys can find me on Twitter at Miss Movies. If you want to find me on Instagram and Snapchat, that's Miss_movies because I wasn't quick enough to get Miss Movies.
Oh
So,
no.
oh well, it's all good. And on this channel, obviously, Hit or Miss Movies. Please subscribe and hit like. We love you. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us today. We'll see you on the next session of Film Therapy, which is Monday at 11 a.m. with Matt Nost. All right. Yay. Okay. Bye. 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 Bye.